Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kelly and Melanie. Looks like you've popped on. A couple more people are popping on. Thank you for your patience with me this morning. Like I said, I keep testing for COVID. It's not COVID. This cough does not want to go away. And late Sunday night, I started to feel congested. Monday, I woke up, was really congested, went to work. Thanks, Melanie. I went to work, and as the day went on, I kept feeling like I was getting a little bit worse. Tuesday, I ended up, I went to work, and it was not really the best day for me. I did end up on Wednesday doing a teleconference with a doctor. Said, sounds like a sinus infection. I'll give you something for the cough and for the sinus pain. And my lymph nodes by this point had all been swollen and painful. And so I was able to get something, stayed home Thursday. And so my biggest thing is when I go to bed and I lay down, I start to cough. And so I did last night in the middle of the night when I started to talk, I cough at like 2:30. I ended up breaking down and taking some NyQuil. And so that's why I think I slept so late this morning as I finally got some sleep. So I'm going to be taking that again tonight. I don't like to be knocked out like that, but when I've been getting so little sleep because of the coughing, I feel like I need to take it. So if I'm not better by the middle of the week, I'm going to get a chest x-ray to make sure I don't have pneumonia because I've had that several times. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Like I put in the comments, I don't know if you read the little thing, but I do have a gift card holder we're going to do today. Our week 10 of the 12 weeks of Christmas, 2 weeks away, is, well, not Christmas, but the week before Christmas, because I won't do something on Christmas. And then I also have a little sneak peek of some of the papers with making a little easel calendar along with a post-it note holder. So hopefully you will find this a lot of really good gift giving ideas because I know everybody's kind of in that, oh my gosh, I have to get a little gift for this person and I have to get a little gift for that person. And since you're all kind of crafty, I thought I would come up with some different things that you might be able to make. So I wanted to share a couple of happy notes, happy mail things that I got. Look at this beautiful card. Isn't that gorgeous for fall? And look at that beautiful ribbon that goes with it. This came to me from Melanie Foy, who was thanking me for some sequins that she received as gifts. And I love her little hand stamped, handmade by Melanie on the back. And then I received this card from one of my customers. It was a happy Thanksgiving from Cindy Winkleman. Just a gorgeous card. We had done this technique in class a couple years ago, and she copied that and added some different things that she found that are newer and other things that she found. And it just says grateful for you on the inside with a really nice message. So thank you for those of you who sent me some happy mail this week during this crazy, crazy week. All right, so I do have some prizes to give away before we start stamping. Yeah, Kay, that was a beautiful card by Melanie. Last week we made this tag as part of our 12 weeks of Christmas, little fun reindeer tag. We also did this gift box. My belly band is slipping down here. We did a gift box. Hopefully some of you, I know a couple of you said I have things to go to. That's perfect. And then inside we have some of the matching cards. So anytime that you hit share and you share my video either on your Facebook page or in a message to somebody, I do enter you into a drawing. Actually, these are the comments. Sorry, jumping ahead here. So anytime you place a comment, you get entered into a drawing. And each week I choose somebody to win these prizes. And so this week for commenting and winning these is Kay Van Epron. And Kay, I'm pretty sure you've won before and that I have your address. If I don't, I'll send you a message, but you will be getting those gifts. Then for sharing, good Lord, my mind's all over the place. For sharing, so anytime you share, make sure in the comments you write that you share because Like last week, there were 11 people that shared. Only 2 people's name popped up because it has to do with the settings you have in Facebook and what people can see. And so receiving a pack of this, I think is out, or it's on back order, glimmer paper, red and white. There's red on the top, but there's also white. Also, a new Wink of Stella brush. And I'm also going to give you a pack of, I think there are 10 in here, calendars, so that if you would like to make some of the calendars that we're making today, you will have some of these. And notice that I get them from Tailored Expressions. You can also go to Amazon and do a search for Tear Off Tiny Calendars, and they've got some there if you want to get them faster. I got mine from Tailored Expressions really fast. I just don't know if they're still in. So for sharing last week and receiving all of these goodies is Amanda Shabo. So Amanda, I have your address, and I will get these in the mail to you. And then for placing an order, I had a couple people early morning on December 1st were on there getting advantage of those last minute deals. Oh, it looks like we've got a couple people on YouTube. Let me see if I can raise this up. Oh, I don't want the whole thing to be. Let me see here. Make that smaller. There we go. I have Mary and Linda and Betty joining us on YouTube. Good morning, ladies, and thank you for sharing as well. But receiving this stamp set, Wisteria Wishes, hopefully you don't have this. If you do, just let me know. This is going to Sandy Calloway. So Sandy, I will get that in the mail. Thank you for your orders. Those sales do continue. They also, I put it on my Facebook page, I believe. They did upload our clearance rack. So a lot of those, like the piggy dies and that tulip paper that was in the last spring catalog, all of the papers that were in the last spring catalog, all of those are really highly discounted right now. So if you wanted to get your hands on some of that and you're like, darn, it sold out before I got my hands on it, it is in the clearance rack right now. And I don't know, I have not kept up since December 1st as to what is still available and what is sold out. But you could check there and see great Christmas gifts. You can let your loved ones know you're going to be purchasing some things that they can give you because it's something that you really want. All right, I'm going to go ahead because I don't want to talk too much longer. I am going to go ahead and turn my camera around, and hopefully we stay connected again today. And get some of this stuff out of here. Also, Nancy Hip, if you won last week, I have yours all ready to go out in the mail today. I did not get in that in the mail last week. I'm going to start with our gift card holder, and then we'll go to some of the 3D items. So I will get the PDF. These are part of my Christmas Creative Escape type thing. And so we're going to be making, it's a little gnome one. And after we did our gnome, and I'll share these dimensions afterwards with you, I'm going to kind of keep it up here so that I have it for myself. Ooh, it's echoing. It's echoing. Let's see. What do I have to do to get rid of the echo? Let me just quickly check this. There we go. Now is it better? Hopefully it's better. I thought I had turned my microphone off on my phone, but obviously I did not. I think I'm okay. I'm sort of straight here. We'll be okay. Hopefully the echo is gone. Thank you for letting me know that, Melanie and Kay. I wasn't, I guess, paying a close attention. But yeah, okay. All right, good. All right. Yep, better. Awesome. Thank you. All right, so we are going to make a little gnome. And this time, what I'm going to do a little bit different from the last gnome that we made is I found someone who made their gnome so that he could dance. His legs would move back and forth. You could kind of shake them. So we're going to do that today in case some of you haven't seen how to do that. I'm going to bring my stamping pad in here just to use it for protection. We're going to do a little inking. So I'm starting with a card base. Ooh, a lot of stuff there. Okay, so this measures 4 1/4 by 11. So it's the hot dog style. And I scored this at 1 1/2, and I scored it at 5 1/2. So this is going to fold in and become a little pocket for our gift card. And then it's going to fold over and we're going to decorate the front. You can kind of see that a little bit in my piece of paper that's there. All right, I'm using 2 pieces of Pool Party. And this one you can kind of see I ran it through an embossing folder that is being discounted. This is 3 3/4 by 4. So the 4 is the long way and 3 3/4 is the width. Now you could do white, you could do designer series paper, you could do whatever you wanted with this layout. I just chose to emboss the background and I'm going to build my little gnome on top of there. All right, I have some DSP that has the reason I use the Pool Party and that Real Red Together is that was in here. These measure 1 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay, and these are going to be for more of the inside. This one you kind of see on the outside of the card. This is coming to us for our green trimmings and tidings and trimming. I don't remember what the name of it is, but this is one of the dies inside of there. And we're going to be using that to stamp a greeting. I cut out his beard in white, basic black are his little feet. His nose is in petal pink. And I used the other side of this paper, which is a real red with some little polka dots as his hat. This die comes from our candy cane dies. And what you can do is you can stick a candy cane through here and stamp something on there. But we're going to be using this as our little mechanism to make him dance. All right, I do have an envelope that we'll make at the end. And I think we are ready to get going. So I'm going to start with the stamping that I have to do. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to have to move up here a little bit. I'm going to start with this embossed layer. I wanted to make that embossing pop a little bit because as you can see, you can't really see it that well from there. So I decided to take some of my, it's called Whisper White yet, craft ink. It's old, that's why it's probably still called Whisper White. I also have a sponge. We don't sell the sponges anymore, but we sell the sponge daubers. I happen to have one that had white ink on it, so I decided to use my sponge. And I'm just going to lightly run that over the top of this emboss. Now, I don't want to press too hard because I don't want the ink to go inside of the trees. I just want it to stay on the stuff that's embossed and it is raised up. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but see how that just kind of makes that pop a little bit and adds that little bit of white, almost like snow, onto those trees. Pretty easy to do to get that effect. Now I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to bring in my other layer that is the same size. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp just a Merry Christmas on the inside of that. So this is coming to us from that Tags stamp set. It has like the mitten, the stand up here. So I can see what I'm doing, make sure I'm straight. All right, and I'm going to stamp that. And then the only other thing I'm going to stamp is a little greeting on the outside. And I'm going to do all is merry and bright because that's something that our little gnome would say, right? Hopefully I did that straight, and I did. Okay, we are done with our stamping. The rest is all going to be building our gnome and putting our card together. So I'm going to set some of the stuff aside. And I'm going to bring my card base back in here. I'm going to get my bone folder. Oops, we were out of focus there for a second. I'm going to burnish this edge real good. I'm going to also burnish my fold. Okay, and one of the strips of the designer paper is going to go right on this little pocket, which is where we're going to be able to tuck our gift card. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the inside of our card. So I'm basically just folding it. And you could also do this card if you wanted to. You could do this the long way and you could have it, let me think here. I think there's a way to do this one. Maybe there's not a way to do this one the long way. I'm just trying to, I think you would have to do your fold. I don't remember. I thought that there was a way to do this one the long way. I will post it if I can figure it out what I did, because I know I've done it the long way instead of the horizontal way. Instead of landscape, I've done it portrait. Okay, and then this is just going to go in here so that when you open it, you have a place to write a little something to the person. Okay, so I want that over far enough so that I still have that little border. All right, this is going to go on the front. And we're going to build our little gnome on top of this paper. All right, and then I'm going to take this little greeting, and it's just going to be kind of popped up here so that I can build my little gnome next to it. I was going to try to put something in his hand. Last time I used the gnome, I used the joy, and I thought about using that again because I really think he does bring a lot of joy, right? He makes you really happy. So that's just going to go right there. Okay, I need a little bit of glue. My less is best, but you got to have enough as well so it stays down, especially when you're on embossed layers. There we go. All right, it just does not want to stay down there. I think I just have to hold it a little bit. All right, then for our gnome, we're going to take this little piece right here that comes from the candy cane. So again, you can stick a candy cane through here and stamp something on there and give just candy canes away and have a stamped image. That's what that's meant for. But we're going to cut it in half. I'm going to trim it even just a little bit more. And I found that so that I didn't see it, I had to trim a little bit off the side like that as well, just to get a little piece like that. And I'm going to attach that to his little legs. Okay, because this I'm going to be able to put down and my legs will be attached so that his legs can kind of slide freely back and forth. It'll make sense once we put it together. So I'm going to add just a little bit of glue to the bottom there and then just attach his legs. Okay, so those are going to go down there. Now, once I find out where I want him, I'm going to put a dimensional in the middle of that. And that's going to attach his legs to the beard and hat and things like that. Now, there's two different ways that you can really build these gnomes. I've seen it where you put the hat on like that, and then you raise the nose up over the top of the hat, or you can put the nose down and then build the hat. Give me a comment and let me know which way you think you want me to do this. Should we put his hat down first or his nose down first? Let me know what you think. Okay, we got nobody commenting yet, but there's a little bit of a delay here. I am going to, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to bring my little beard in here and I'm going to bring my Wink of Stella out. And we're going to put some Wink of Stella on his beard. We want to make that shine. So I'm just going to go ahead so that I don't accidentally get Wink of Stella on his nose afterwards. I just want to keep it on his beard. I'm going to put that Wink of Stella on now. And I don't know if you guys can see this in the camera or not, but there's a ton of little detail. Let's see if I can get it to, it's really, really hard to see that in the camera. There's a lot of little detail in his little beard. Oh, and it just got really, really blurry when I did that. Nose down, nose first. Okay, so it looks like most of them want the nose down instead of up. You can do it either way. So I'm going to go ahead, we'll put the nose down. And there is a little outline, so you know right where you have to put that nose. You don't have to do any guessing on that with these dies. And then there is a little outline for his hat as well. So I'm going to just put the glue in that little outlined area and over the top of his nose a little bit, and then set that hat down. Okay, so we've got our little gnome started. All right, let's bring this in here. So this is going to set over the top. So what I wanted to do is just kind of make sure that I had this where I needed it. So I'm going to slide it to the left just a little bit. Okay, I don't want to cover that. So that looks good right about there where I'm going to put that. So I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to take a mini Stampin' Dimensional, and I'm going to place that mini Stampin' Dimensional right in the middle of that circle. And I'm going to take that off. Then I'm going to flip over the gnome. Here I can use a mini at the top. I'm going to take a couple of bigger ones. Maybe do that there. Really don't think I need anything more than that. I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to hold this down, get this centered where I want it. Make sure I press down there and press him down. And now his legs will kind of dance back and forth for you when you shake him, which is kind of fun. All right, so that is our little dancing gnome that we just made. Now, if you don't have this die and you have like a little circle that you could cut, you basically just have to have a little circle to be able to put that Stampin' Dimensional in. You have to have a little bit on the edge here to attach to his legs, and then you just kind of cut around that circle so you have something to put the Stampin' Dimensional in. All right, so that is how we can get our gnome to dance. Now let's add just a little bit of ribbon. Whoops, I didn't attach this on the inside yet. Let's add our ribbon and then I'll do that. You're probably going, you don't have the card done yet, Sarah. There's no gift card holder yet. All right, let's go ahead, and the one that I made for my sample doesn't move as well. I think I had, my circle was covered too much. This one I made sure that I kept the circle completely open and not covered it at all with his pants or his legs. All right, just gonna tie a little knot on the corner here. I thought a bow was too big. I thought a knot was perfect. Okay, just to add a little bit of ribbon there. And then I still keep my circle punches. I think circle punches are so much easier than always having to put something through a die. So I am going to just slide this in here about halfway. Now, if you have the circle, layering circle dies, you could also put it in there. I just want to have something to easily grab my gift card. Oops, I just got disconnected. Sorry, ladies. Let's see if I can get back up. Sorry. Not sure what's happening. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi that knocks it out or what it does. Let's see here. Mobile device. Sarah's iPhone and connect. There we go. Hello. Okay, I think I'm back. And my microphone is still off. So I think we're still good. All right, I'm sorry about that, ladies. I think I caught it pretty fast. Hopefully I wasn't out for too long. Okay, I think I'm back. Yes, I heard someone say you're back. Good. Now, You can either, if you want, you can use some tear and tape here, or you could put some liquid glue. You just don't want to put too much liquid glue. If you're the type of person that you have a hard time controlling how much liquid glue comes out, then I would use the tear and tape here and make sure that you don't go too far. But I'm just going to go ahead and use a little bit of liquid glue since that's what I have out right now. I'm just going to make sure that I give that a really, really good press. All right, I'm going to flip it over. While that's kind of drying, I'm going to bring some of the sequins in, those holiday sequins, and I'm going to use the white ones on here, and I'm just going to add, look at his legs there, he's dancing up like crazy. All right, I'm going to add a couple of these to the front of this card. Now you could use the red ones if you wanted to. I opted to just pull out the white ones and add some of that. And then we're just going to take a gift card and we're going to pop it right inside of there. And we have a gift card all ready to go with our little dancing gnome. All right. Isn't that fun? I thought that that was kind of a fun way to do the gnome. I hadn't seen that when I did my one the other week. And so I thought, well, I'm going to show that just so that if you have that gnome die, you have a different thing that you can do. And I keep getting really in and out blurriness. I think it's whenever I'm moving in front of it. So I'll try to keep my supplies over here instead of in my little container. All right, I'm going to add this glue to the envelope. And just like that, I have a really cute, I think this would be a really, really cute gift card. Like I have nieces and nephews that I end up, they get to be that age when they're in college or they're, in high school. And the only thing they really want is a gift card because then they can do their own shopping. Unless their parents send you like a link and it shows you exactly where to go and order the item, which luckily, my sister and sister-in-law did that for me this year. So I just clicked on the link, made the purchase, and I was done. Didn't have to go to the mall or anything for their kids. So there we have a little envelope. Could go to any type of person with that little gnome, the little dancing, fun dancing gnome. All right, so that is our project number 1. And again, I do have pictures taken and I do have the dimensions. I will put those all together and upload it. I'll try to be better with uploading it yet today. I'm going to keep the ribbon here because we need that. I'm also going to leave the red ink here, which I did. And I think everything else I can put away. All right, next I think I'm going to do my 12 Weeks of Christmas project, which is also one of the items that is in my Christmas thing this weekend. And this is called a boozy and chocolate box. So who doesn't like booze and chocolate? So this is kind of a preview. You could put any kind of booze you want in here. For this one today, I'm choosing Bailey's that I'm going to put in. The other one that I have to show you is a Seagram's, I think it is. You can either use these Lindor Lindt truffles, or you can use the Ferrero Rocher, those little chocolates. You're going to need 3 of them to go inside of this. And these are just, like I said, it's an awesome gift for someone that you want to give them something, but you don't want to spend an overabundance in money. But is something that they're thinking of them. And if it's something that they like chocolate and things like that, this would be perfect. Okay, so our dimensions. We're going to be making a box just like we made our box last week. And so just like we had to have a dimension and we had to score it on each side, for the bottom, this is 7 by 5.5, and I scored this at 1 1/4 on all the sides. So this box is going to go together similar to the one we did last week. The top is 6 by 4.5, and it's scored at 3/4 of an inch all the way around. So when we put this together, this is going to look very similar to the box that we did last week. Now, on top of it, I'm going to put a divider. So the first divider is going to, and I don't think I have my sample here, but I'll go grab it so you can see it. Sorry about that. Thought I brought it in here. So we are going to divide up the booze, which is right over here, and then have a space for our 3 chocolates. I got this from Julie Birschbach at Christine Bertram did an event this summer for demonstrators, and I thought, this is such a clever idea. So we're going to divide the box first in half, and then we're going to divide one of the halves into 3 parts so that we have a little spot for each of our chocolates. Okay, so the dividers, and again, I will post these with pictures. Okay, so this divider is, let's see, 4 3/8 by 5 1/8, sorry, and it's scored at 1 3/8, 2 1/2, 3 5/8, and that's on the 5 1/8 side. So I scored that in 3 places. Okay, then our divider is 1 1/2 by 10 1/2, and then along this 10 1/2 inch side, I scored it at 3/4, 2 1/4, 3 3/8, 4 1/2, 6, 7 1/8, 8 1/4, and 9 5/8. Now, just to give you a hint, if you were going to make a whole bunch of these, so I was cutting a whole bunch of these for my Christmas crafts, like Christmas gift type class. What I did was on the 11-inch side, I just scored I scored the whole 8 1/2 length. And then what I did was I went and I cut them in 1 1/2 inch strips. I didn't want to have to score every single one of these and have to keep looking to see, where am I scoring that again? So what you could do is if you're going to make 5 of these, 5 times 1 1/2, so that would be 5 1/2, 1 1/2 and 1 1/2 is 3. And then we got that twice, so that would be 6. So you would need 7 1/2 inches by that 10 1/2. And then you could go ahead and score all of them and then cut them in the 1 1/2 inch sides after. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, then I also have some layers. So for the top of the box, I've got some cardstock that is 2 7/8 by 4 3/8, and then some DSP that's just 1/8 of an inch smaller, so 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. And then for the little lid, I wanted to cover each of those little sides as well. So these 2 longer sides, the cardstock is 4 3/8 by 5/8 inch, and the DSP is 4 1/4 by 1/2. And these 2 short sides, this is 2 7/8 by 5/8, and then this would be 2 3/4 by 1/2. So that's going to be all to put the box together. We also have to do a little stamping and a little die cutting so that we can decorate the outside of the box. So I am going to be using the Christmas banners, and I'm going to be using the one that has the 2 different banners. And I haven't used this one yet in anything that I've done for a Facebook Live. So I'm going to use the garden green, and I'm going to stamp that banner. Pretty good. I should have brought my foam pad in there, but I forgot. And then I wanted to, inside each of those little ribbons, I wanted to put some words. So I'm just going to put Merry Christmas. So I've got the word Merry for the top. Got to stand up so I can get this centered. And I have the word Christmas for the bottom. Now, we do have dies that coordinate with this, and through the magic of TV, I have that cut out for you. And also in that dies with that, we have some of this greenery that I ended up cutting that we're going to be adding to this as well, just to decorate the front a little bit. Okay, let's put our box together. Let's start with the cover. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish on all of the sides. So if you couldn't quite get how to make that box last week, it didn't make sense to you, maybe watching again today. If you're not a person that makes a lot of boxes, I make a lot of boxes. I find them pretty easy to make. All right, I'm going to do some cutting, and I'm going to cut up this score line to the first score line. And again, I'm going to notch out and make like a little tab on the end that I'll fold in to put my box together. I'm going to cut up on this end as well and notch my tab. And you really don't have to do that. I just find it folds in just a little bit easier when you do that. Now, before I put this together, I did find that attaching the layers to the cover ends up, it's a lot easier when I can lay it flat and press on it like this than when it's already formed in a box. So I'm going to take these layers that I cut, and I'm going to layer the DSP. Look at all those candy canes on the back. I have to say, I didn't use this pattern as much because I used a lot of the candy canes, but I loved the red and the green together. I wanted to make it look really, really Christmassy. So I'm going to layer that, and then I'm going to layer that on the front of the box. And I'm going to stand up to make sure getting that even. And then each of these sides, I'm just going to, like last week, I didn't put anything on the sides. I just used a belly band. And if you wanted to do this box and you wanted to make the whole box, and that's what you wanted to do, is you just wanted to put a belly band around it or something, you could do that. You don't have to decorate the whole front like I'm doing it. I saw that she had done this. She had done it with, oh gosh, that Nature's Print paper. She had just made one that wasn't holiday related, was just could use for any occasion. I forgot, I think she put a thank you or something on it as a gift to thank someone. So you really wouldn't have to do this just at Christmas. It could be a party favor for something. I'm thinking like a little bachelorette party. This little bottle of wine or bottle of booze for a bachelorette party probably wouldn't go very far, but you know what I mean? Like just the thought, like it's something to give to somebody or prizes to win for something. If you have, I don't know if you have at your Christmas parties, if you end up having where you play games and people win some different things, you could have this. If you have to bring a gift to pass, you can only spend a certain amount of money on the gift. This doesn't really cost all that much. I don't even remember how much I paid for each of those little bottles of booze that I bought to have here for my class. But those are, pretty small compared to having to buy a big bottle of Bailey's. It's always the thought, for most of these gifts, it's for someone who's done something nice and it's just wanting to thank them for the things that they do all year. Someone who cleans your house, or this might be nice for like a UPS driver, brings all those Amazon packages, or for me, stamping up packages to my house all year. Okay, so I have that all on there. It's just easier to press all of it down when it's flat. So that's why I did that while it was flat. Now, again, I'm just going to take these, and these are just going to be, these flaps are just going to, and if you're the person that you would prefer to do this with tear and tape, you can use tear and tape. Just a reminder that the minute you stick tear and tape down, it is stuck. Okay, with the liquid glue, you do have to hold it in place. Like I'm just holding it with my forefinger and my thumb and holding that in place, giving it a little time to dry. And then I'm going to go over here. And you also want to make sure that when you're using liquid glue, that you're using enough for it to adhere, but you don't want to have so much that it's leaking out the sides or leaking out the front. Okay, because you don't want to have a sticky box. Right? So if you have a hard time controlling how much glue comes out when you use liquid glue, then I would recommend the tear and tape. All right, should look at comments. Oh, hi, Aunt Dorothy. Yeah, it's kind of a fun gift. Can you repeat the scoring on the divider? I will when I do the divider. How about that? I would be happy to do that. All right. Okay, so there is the cover of our box, which is just going to take a little bit for it to dry. Then let's do the bottom, and I'm not decorating the bottom because the bottom mostly gets covered, but I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to just cut that up, and then we're just going to do our little notching. I have these little pieces of paper like this all over the place. These little notches. I've made so many boxes lately that when you do all that little notching, it's like I find little strips like that all over the place. My craft room needs a good cleaning. My mom keeps sending me things that she finds on Facebook about little funny things about someone's craft room. I'm like, she's sending me a message or she just knows that I can relate. All right. So we're going to go ahead and fold these up. Probably should have done the scoring before. It doesn't really matter. You can do it after. Just make sure you get your tabs good then if you do it after. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to that tab. Press that together good. Add some glue to this tab. Just press and hold. And I find that when I liquid glue, someone asked me once, use liquid glue for a box. Do you find your box falls apart? I really don't. Once liquid glue dries, like it gives you the little wiggle room at the beginning, but once it dries, it holds pretty secure. So you really don't have to worry too much about your box coming apart. Okay, you want to use enough, but you don't want to use too much that you end up just to cut too far here. Let's see if I can get this little snip. There we go. All right, so there's our little box. Now we have to do our dividers. So the one that's going to divide the booze and the chocolate, now one side is a little bit wider, the chocolate side is a little bit wider than the little booze bottle. What we're going to do is I'm going to fold this, and then I'm going to fold these the opposite way. Okay, so I'm going to get a little mountain in the middle for my divider, and then I'm going to have my two little valleys. Now someone asked me for the dimensions of this. So it's 5 1/8 by 4 3/8. And on the 5 1/8 inside, I scored at 1 3/8, at 2 1/2, and at 3 5/8. And I will post these dimensions after my Facebook Live as well, because I have them all typed up. Okay, so that's going to go that way. This is going to go this way. Now for this, you could do one of two things. I would for sure glue the center together. Okay, you can opt whether you want to just put it down in there so that if somebody wants to use the box and they don't want to have the divider, that the divider isn't attached, or you can put some, I would put some tear and tape if you're going to put the box divider in there permanently. Okay, but you can go ahead. I'm going to just grab my tear and tape. Sorry, I had to go in front of the camera, which I know makes it blurry for a second. So the tear and tape, pretty easy to use. I'm just going to fold that in. Okay, again, I could just go ahead and put this down, or I can go ahead and I can tape it down. If I'm going to tape it down, I'm just going to put a little bit of tear and tape. It depends on how flexible or how you want them to possibly be able to use the box again. So if you think maybe they'd want to fill it with something else and not put this exactly in, or you want to use the box for something else and you don't want to have to, have the divider in there, you can decide if you want the divider in or not. Okay, again, so the wider side is the chocolates. I'm just going to set that in there and press. So now my Bailey's is going to go there. And now I'm going to build some little squares for the chocolates to go in. So this is the longer piece. So this again is 1.5 by 10.5. And then I scored it at 3/4, 2 1/4, 3 3/8, 4.5, 6, 7 1/8, 8 1/4, and 9 5/8. Okay, so these little sections right here, these wider sections, 1, 2, and 3, are where my chocolates are going to go. So my mountains are going to be the sides that are on either side of that. So there's 1. Okay, then this is where my chocolate's going to go. So then I have to make a mountain here and push that out. And then these are just going to go up along the side. So this is just going to slide right in here like that so that I have little space for all of my chocolates. Okay, so now I'm going to take and burnish these a little bit better now that I know which direction they have to fold in. I just wanted to point that out because sometimes people are like, they get the long thing and they're like, well, which way is it supposed to fold? I can't figure it out. So if you find the 3 sections for the candy, those are going to be flat, and the mountain has to go, the high part has to go on either side of them. So that's just going to set in there like that. Okay, good morning, Becky. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and, since I have the tear and tape out, I'm just going to put a piece of tear and tape in here. I'll put a piece of tear and tape in here. And I'll maybe just do the 2 sides. Maybe I won't do the bottom on this one. Tear and tape is really nice because you just peel it off and you stick it together. Okay, and then, let's just do 1 down the center here. I don't even think I put it on the one that the sample that I did. I just did it on the ends, but we'll secure it pretty good. It won't be going anywhere. So because this is tear and tape, you do want to make sure you get it in the right spot before you press anything. There we go. So my last one had the Lindor truffles. So this one I'll put the Ferrero Rocher chocolates in. Kind of looks nice with the Baileys too. The gold on the outside. There we go. We've got our little cover. Hopefully this doesn't end up like last week where my cover didn't fit after I went through all of that work. But I think it's going to fit. You do have to cut your base just a little bit shorter like go up to, I think the bottom was 5.5, go up to 5.5 and then slide it just a little bit shorter because you do want the base just a little bit shorter than the cover. All right, now we have our label that we made. That's going to go here. And we've got some of these little greens that we can peek out on either side to kind of give it a little bit more length on there. And the other thing is I wanted to bring a little bit of red in. So I'm going to bring my ribbon in. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make like a zigzag back and forth with my ribbon, kind of going in the opposite direction. Well, not the opposite direction, kind of the same direction as the ribbon that is in there. So I'm going to start with that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of take my ribbon, I'm going to hold my hand here, I'm going to zigzag it back and forth so I know about how long I need it. And then I'm going to trim this. And then I'm going to take a piece of Scotch tape. I'm just going to throw a piece of Scotch tape down the middle because it's going to get covered. Okay, it's going to get covered by that. So you're not going to see the Scotch tape. But yet there's a little bit of that fun ribbon coming through. And this I'm going to trim just a little bit here. Okay, I'm going to throw this Merry Christmas up on some dimensionals. And here we are. I think what I'm going to do, you can see I had stamped it once before and had to do the other side of the paper. I'm going to throw this in between my ribbon. Or my Merry Christmas, and then just going to add a little bit of glue to some of the areas that are a little bit bigger on these pine branches. Don't need a lot of glue, just a little bit. And a little bit here. And they pop underneath there. And then to make those branches stand out a little bit, I didn't bring my little red gems, did I? Let me see what I did with them. Let me grab some red. Might have some in my container here. I'll just use some of these. These are different than the ones that I had used, but there's red on here. So there's these little red holiday pearls, festive pearls. I'm just going to stick a couple of those on the pine branches. And there we have our gift. So it's called a Boozy chocolate or Boozy candy box. So I've got a bottle of booze in there. Now my other one that I did, here it is. I have, whoops, I put the cover on the wrong way. I have Jack Daniels in that one. And I have the Lindor chocolate, so a little bit different. But I did find, though, you do have to check the little booze that you get because I have a sister-in-law and a sister who love Tito's. And I bought Tito's to put in here, and the Tito's bottle is too long. It doesn't fit in here. So if I'm going to give them one of these and I want to put Tito's in it, I'm going to have to redesign my box and make it just a little bit longer to fit the Tito's bottle. So I thought I would give you that warning ahead of time in case you were thinking, oh, I could get that for somebody and put Tito's in it. I don't know why theirs has to be a little bit taller than everybody else's, but you will want to. I had somebody that made it last night, and she said, I'm going to put this in my purse in bring it into Festival Foods around here. Has almost any kind of liquor you can think of in these little bottles. And she said, I'm going to put it in there so that I can measure, make sure that the liquor that I get actually fits in it. Because for some reason, some of those bottles just have to be just a little bit bigger. All right, so that's our 12 weeks of Christmas, a gift item that you could give away. And now we're going to do a little bit of a sneak peek of some of the paper. So this time of year, I love to make calendars as gifts for people as well. Since it's the end of a year and they're looking at starting a new year, I like to bring in and give them something to put on their desk for all year long. So we're going to be making an easel calendar, and this is some of our Calypso coral. And so this measures 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 2 3/4 and at 5 1/2. I also have a piece that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is going to be like our little easel thing that we're going to build. I'm using some of the Celebration paper that will be available after, I think it's January 4th, 3rd, 4th, something like that. This measures for 4 by 5 1/4. Isn't that fun? I just loved that. And it has some of the Calypso coral. I also made it in Mango Melody, so I'll show you what it looks like with Mango Melody. All right, I have, looks like I didn't grab the stamp pads that I need from out of my kitchen. I cut a deckled rectangle out of basic white. I think this is the 3rd from the smallest. I also have one of these mini calendars that I got from Tailored Expressions, and you just tear off to get to the next month. These come in a set in a pack of 10. You get 10 of them. And I want to say it was like $4 for 10 of them. So they come to being about 40 cents a piece. You can also find some of these little tear off calendars on Amazon. They're a little bit smaller than this. So you would have to change the dimensions that I'm giving you. So if you want to layer a piece of cardstock on the back of this, this measures 3 1/4 by 2 1/2, and that layers really nicely on there to get a little bit of the color onto your, onto your easel. Then I'm also going to use a Post-it note, and to cover the area where the Post-it note is going to be, this layer of DSP, which is also, you could either use the little, like, it's not really chevron, but it's kind of like that chevron look. Okay, Mary Linsmer, Valley Stamp and Scrap has them too if you want to buy local. That's awesome. I would love for Linda to get the business. She's out in Menasha, I think it's considered, Neenah, Menasha. And Valley Stamp and Scrap, that's awesome to know. This measures 4 by 3 1/4. Okay, and this is another design pattern from that. I have my little Post-it note. Now, people always ask me, where do you find white Post-it notes? Locally, Meijer. Meijer has almost any color you can think of. It's in like by their school supply section. They have a whole section of Post-it notes, and they have where you can buy all white ones. And I chose white because then I know for sure it's going to match. Okay, those are all the things that we need. I do need a piece of paper. Oh, here, I have it right here. This is, I took some of that same designer paper and I cut it just like about 1/8 of an inch bigger than that deckled rectangle. And I can find a ruler here and tell you what the dimension of that is. It's 1 7/8 by 3 1/4. 1 7/8 by 3 1/4, and then that will fit that deckled rectangle. Okay, let's go ahead and start assembling, and then we'll do some stamping at the end. So this is like an easel card. You're going to fold it in half first, and then on the other fold, you're going to fold that in. Okay, so our easel, our calendar is going to stand like this. So it's going to be up on this piece of paper here, and our Post-it note's going to be down here. All right, so I'm going to attach this designer paper to this Calypso coral. And then I'm going to attach my calendar to this. And if you want, you can use some tear and tape on that as well. I found the liquid glue does hold it though. Kind of depends on what you prefer. Oh, Linda, I'm looking at catching up at comments on YouTube. Sorry. I'm glad that you could use the gift card holder idea. It's funny because I don't know if Sandy's on here, but Sandy, one of my customers, did she did a craft fair the weekend after Thanksgiving, so that was last weekend already. And she was telling me some of the things that she was going to sell, and I said, when I did craft fairs, one of the best sellers was gift card holders. And so she, all of a sudden, she's like, oh, I should make some of those. I wasn't planning on making any of those. So she made them. So I asked her this week because I had my stamp club. My virtual one was on Monday. And I said, what was your big seller? And she said, gift card holders. Everybody wants gift card holders. Isn't that fun? Okay, this paper is going to go down right inside of here. Just like that. And then for my Post-it note, that I'm actually going to use some tear and tape. Now, when the Post-it note runs out, the last piece, which is this bottom piece, is going to be attached to the bottom so that they could just tear off the bottom piece of one that they're buying and put it like right back in. The other thing you could do is you could tear this off and you could just put it on there so that it's just posted right to that. I find that the stickiness of that isn't really, I did that when I used to do craft fairs. I would do some of these calendars with Post-it notes, and I found that they kept like falling off. And then once they fall off, that stickiness, sometimes they can tear this. So instead of wanting it to fall apart, what I did was I'd use this tear and tape, which is really, really strong, to this last piece that doesn't have the little Post-it on. And then that will always, they won't be able to pull that off, but they'll be able to stick another Post-it note on top of it if their Post-its run out. So I'm going to press that down there. And so that just sets like that. Okay, so it just sets up on your calendar, on your desk. Now I wanted to decorate the top of it, and I wanted to use something. I'll show you some of them that I did as samples. So this is using a stamp set and also using a die that's in the new catalog that'll be coming out in spring. Grateful for the everyday magic of you. So it's just kind of a reminder to somebody all year that you think they're pretty magical and that they're pretty awesome. This one I did with Mango Melody instead of the Calypso Coral. And then I put the Calypso Coral on the inside and the Petal Pink here. This one is some of that paper as well. This is using the Fresh Freesia and some of that paper. And this is the stamp that I'm going to do with this one. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. What great advice Ralph Waldo Emerson gives us every single day. And then this is also from that same stamp set. This is the floral image, but I just made it really, really small. so that you could get it onto that corner. So that's what we're going to stamp today. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the greeting out. I just realized I don't have, we're going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz and Calypso Coral, and I've got some of my Memento. I used Fresh Freesia, and I used some Parakeet Party for that one, so we'll just change it up a little bit. There's a little bit of glare on there, sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to use that same saying. So you could find just about any stamp that you have. You don't even have to stamp a saying. You could just use some dies with some flowers and fancy it up a little bit. I'm going to stamp that off to the right so that I can put my flower to the left. Now I'm going to have to bring something in because I do not want to stamp on my wood surface here. See how long this one is? So I basically just put it on here so that I would get the 3 flowers and not the whole thing. Okay, so there is my Pear Pizzazz. And then I'm using the Calypso Coral. This one has a floral image that matches. And again, I really only need those 3 flowers. I'm matching up on top here and then each of the 2 sides there. I should let you know what this stamp set is. It's been in the catalog a couple of years. Looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to layer that onto some of that DSP that is in the petal pink that we put on the bottom by our Post-it note. And I could have used petal pink for my flowers too. Could have used Mango Melody for my flowers. I could have used a Stampin' Write marker and done a couple of different colors to bring out several of the different colors. And then I'm just going to place that down on the top of the calendar. Oh, and I should have put my calendar a little bit lower. Put that calendar just a little bit too high. What was I thinking? I don't think I can get it up anymore without ripping it. It's a little bit high, but there is our desk calendar. You can tear off each month with a little saying. Again, here's the other ones. Add this one. And I also did this one in the Fresh Freesia. Isn't that paper going to be awesome? So that paper is going to be in Celebration. If you're a demonstrator, you now get Celebration. You can pre-order as of December 1st. And you can get that for any $100 that you place. You can get that for free. And there's 48 sheets with all different designs and stuff. It's really, really pretty. So that was one of our projects today. We've got our boozy boxes with our chocolate and our booze inside. And we have our little dancing gnome, get his feet right here, gift card holder. Whoops, now I stuck on the little sequins. There we go. All right, so 3 different gift ideas for the holidays. All right, let me come back to you. Let me look at my comments. Oh, thank you, Julie. Oh, yeah, calendars are so awesome. I think some of you were talking about maybe sharing or where you were from. So Melanie's looking to split a pack of calendars with someone. If I end up having enough left, Melanie, after this weekend, I can reach out to you and let you know. So, yeah, Robin, these are some of the projects that are part of the Christmas thing. Sorry, you're getting a sneak peek. But anyway, these are some of the things that were part of my my Christmas gift giving class that I have going on this weekend. So thank you guys so much. I'm working on Christmas cards. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up all the comments. All right, I think that's it. Thank you for all of you who popped on here and watched me later. I know some of you are probably going to be watching the replay because I came out on such a weird time, but hopefully next Saturday when I see you, I will sound better and I will be feeling a little bit better. Today, I don't feel as bad as I have felt the rest of the week, but yeah, I think the meds are working, but I do need to go blow my nose if you can hear that. And so I'm going to let you go. That was way too much information, I know, but I'm going to let you go. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week ahead. I hope you can find some time to create, and I will catch you next Saturday with some more ideas.